Okay, boys, we have a very interesting video coming up, or today, right now. If you read the title, Entering My God Arc, and you kind of felt like it reminisced of Neuro Knowledge, it does. Okay, we just watched some Neuro Knowledge videos recently, and we are becoming more, I would say, aware of the way that our mind affects our reality and shit like that. And so today we're gonna be talking about entering my God arc, which is kind of like before I would be thinking shit like, oh, that means we're gonna start praying, we're gonna start reading our Bible and shit every single day, going to church type shit, and that's not necessarily the case. Um, let's get into the video because this is very important, especially with what we've been saying about the the mind, the body, and the spirit. Those are basically the three planes of existence that we live on, right? And by us being able to conquer those three planes of existence, by us being able to take control and actually having the awareness, the consciousness over every single one of those areas, we'll be able to manifest. Okay, now it sounds like spiritual voodoo type shit. This is what happens when you watch so much neural knowledge type shit. But yeah, you'll be able to create your desired reality, and that's basically what we want, right? And so today, let's go talk. I'm going to talk about what basically I learned and basically what I'm continuing to develop in my own life and shit like that. Okay, so this might be a very not so structured video because I was just writing shit that I kind of basically just what's this called? Created out of my freaking brain. Okay, I just took it out with no kind of oh shit, I just threw my marker in the back. But basically I just got out of thin air, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Oh my gosh, I gotta go reach behind this freaking people clicked off already. It's okay. I just threw it behind my own refrigerator. So this is actually on top of my refrigerator, not gonna lie. And just zooming in, not on my freaking big ass shoulders. But yeah, so on this board is basically things that just some random points that has entered my own consciousness. Okay, and so today we're talking about entering my God arc. Okay, on this left side of the whiteboard I have what is the God arc. Okay, it's basically, in my definition, entering a higher state of consciousness, because basically what I have here, the highest state of consciousness was Jesus Christ, right? Jesus Christ is God in the flesh, right? And in order to, one of the things in the Bible that people are, like one of the purposes that people say is that we are meant to be more like Christ. And what is Christ? Christ is the highest state of consciousness that we can achieve, right? He is aware. He has this awareness, this consciousness, the frequency, whatever you want to call it, right? And that is like basically achieving God-like awareness. Okay? And on the flip side, the lowest state of consciousness is the devil, right? You're unaware of like what I said in my previous videos is the way the devil influences you, persuades you, convinces you, deceives you. He can only do that when you are at a low level of a low state of consciousness, when you become unaware of the things that he's putting in front of you, right? If we walk down the path, the straight and narrow path, we're if you have a high state of awareness, if you have a high state of consciousness, you will realize when you stray off this path, right? You are going to realize when that happens. You're going to realize when people are distracting you from your God-given path. You're going to realize these things. But if you do not have a high state of consciousness, right? You will not be able to be aware that you are off the path, that you are actually walking you're straying off God's path for you, right? And so by achieving a higher state of consciousness, by being more aware, by being present in the moment, you are going to be able to walk the path that God wants you to walk. Okay, and so that is basically the God arc. Okay, is entering a higher state of consciousness. Okay, so let's go to presence. Okay, I just wrote some random shit on the board, not gonna lie, but let's go to presence and how this ties into consciousness. You guys gotta understand, presence is key because basically, like, awareness is how present are you. Okay, you got to realize that the now is the only time that actually exists. The now is the eternal. They call it the eternal now. Okay, because like the future and the past is just a projection, or the future is just a projection of the now. The past is just a recollection of what has happened right now. Okay, so like time, if you actually think about it, time is an illusion. Time is something that doesn't actually exist because God existed before time. God is eternal, right? And so if we're entering our God arc, if we're trying to be more like God, if we're trying to be more like Jesus Christ, we can't be living within the confinement of time. Okay? You have to be aware that time doesn't exist, that time is, we cannot be bound by it. Okay? And so by being in the present moment, you are living in the eternal now. And because you are living in the eternal now, you are where God resides. You are able to tap into your God-given intellect, your God-given consciousness. Okay? And so that is why, like, being here and now, being present, is how you unlock a higher state of consciousness. Is how you become more aware. Okay? And this all starts with the mind. Okay, so previously in my old videos, in my videos before, and my previous thinking on certain matters is that you just need to be taking action. And yes, that is important, but there's things, okay, so this is directly from Nero himself, Neuro Knowledge himself, is that there are things that come before action, right? It's not just actions that lead to reality. There's a chain effect. What leads to your actions is things that you're compelled to do, right? Things that compel you to take this certain action. And I don't want to just say it's a motivation, but it's everything, you know? People are compelled to go to the gym. Some people are compelled to not work out. You're compelled to do this sin, and you got to understand why that is, okay? And so what influences the things that you are compelled to do is your intuition. Intuition, as Neuro Knowledge says, is basically the internal guidance, right? In is internal, tuition is basically the guidance, the teachings and shit like that. And so your internal compass, your internal guidance, what is that influenced by? That is influenced by your mind, how your consciousness, okay? It is influenced by the way, the level of consciousness that you are at. Okay, so like it's a chain reaction. So like I noticed this in my life is that when I just focused on the actions, yes, I would be like, it felt like an uphill battle. Okay, if I do not have the mental aspect in check, right, it would feel like a mental battle. And I believe this happens with a lot of people that go to the gym, and I just didn't become aware of it, right? I have friends, right, that be going to the gym, like I'd get them into the gym, but then they wouldn't like be consistent with it. And I never found out why. I thought you just needed to do it, right? I thought you just needed to take the actions, but that just wasn't the case, okay? Because in their mind, they still saw themselves as this unfit person, as this person that doesn't go to the gym, as this person that doesn't do, that doesn't work out. And that kind of thinking, that kind of mentality, that kind of state of consciousness is what compels them to not go to the gym, not take action and shit like that. Okay, and so it all starts with the mind. I didn't realize this because when I started going to the gym, it started with how I thought. Like if you heard my story before, it was like I wanted to be the best high school wrestler on island, right? So I already like I started thinking to myself like I'm making the sacrifices right now, right? I'm making the sacrifices right now to be the best on island. And like a few days later, it's like, dude, I'm probably the best already. I'm the best high school wrestler on island. That is why I'm working out like this. I do these things because I am the best high school wrestler on island. I work out because I'm the best high school wrestler on island. Okay? And so it's like the reaffirmation of the now, even though I wasn't technically, I didn't have the results of the best high school wrestler on island. I was acting like the best high school wrestler on island. Okay? And so it started with the mind, my mental attitude and the thoughts that was going into my mind was already acting like I was the best high school wrestler on island. I stopped playing video games at night so I can get enough sleep so I can recover, because that's what the best high school wrestler on island would do, right? I started hitting the gym, right, to build my muscle, because that's what the best high school wrestler on island would do. And I realize it now that it wasn't just doing the actions that the best high school wrestler on island would do. It's by aligning my consciousness, aligning my mental state, okay, to what my identity and all of that shit, to aligning it to that, which allowed me to have the intuition to not, you know what, I didn't even do that much. I did some research and shit like that, but like the intuition to do the things that would lead me to the desired result, right? And this is kind of what I mean by when you align yourself to your God-given purpose, the alignment starts in your mind, okay? The alignment starts with the conviction in your thoughts, the way that you feel, the identity you put for yourself. That conviction starts within you, okay? And this is why I really emphasize on focusing on the internal values of yourself, okay? And so this is mostly from Nero, okay? This process. But it truly makes sense. Like, oh my gosh, it's one of my like not epiphanies, but like my aha moment type shit. You feel me? And so it all starts in the mind, okay? It all starts in the mind. The mind is where it is caused. You're at cause energy when you start believing, believing things with your mind, okay? And so let's break down consciousness, right? I put here, the mind causes your reality. So yeah, see how I'm like knowing what I'm gonna say already. Again, let's start with consciousness. So I apologize if it's all over the place, but because we're on this topic already, let's start with consciousness. So what is consciousness made up of, right? This is from Neuro Knowledge, as I said before, okay? It's from 5 things. It is formulated from 5 things. Your beliefs, what you believe about the world. You hear a lot of people saying shit like, stuff that let go of beliefs that do not serve you, okay? Because all our beliefs are is just like what your perception about the world is. And if your perception of the world is causing you to have a undesirable reality, you should let it go, okay? Only hold on to beliefs that lead you to your desired reality, right? And so don't hold on to things that don't serve you. Okay, so there's beliefs, there's your identity, what you believe about yourself, how you see yourself, the emotionally charged thoughts. I'm telling you, I just watched Neuro Knowledge starting yesterday. I only watched like 3 videos, honestly. Emotionally charged thoughts. Oh shoot, I think I'm gonna be missing one. The emotion/moods. I'm freaking missing one. There's a 4th one that I totally forgot. Beliefs, identity, emotionally charged thoughts, emotions, moods. I know there was like conviction, but that I totally forgot the 5th one. Lol. Beliefs, attitudes, emotions, charged thoughts. Anyway, I forgot the fifth, the sixth, whatever one there was. But basically, anyway, as long as we got a few of them done, that's all that matters. Okay, basically, what you believe in your brain is what causes your reality. Okay, and so you gotta stop in this process of having things that don't serve you, negative thoughts, these thoughts that that you gotta understand when you have these negative thoughts, these thoughts that I don't want to just say negative, but these thoughts that don't serve you. That's my definition of negative. It's like it just doesn't serve you. Um, it will cause your reality to not serve your. It will cause an undesirable reality. Okay, and so emotionally charged thoughts, emotions slash moods, conviction. Honestly, I'm not even gonna dive deep into it. I'm gonna personally just have the humility to say that I'm still learning these things. Okay, so anyway, let's backtrack. Let's backtrack. Consciousness. You must be able to destroy your perception of time. Okay, like I was saying earlier, the now is the only time that actually exists. So God is not confined by time. Like before He created things into the world, God is eternal. Like there was no beginning or end. He just was. He just is. Okay, and so if we are entering a God, like if we are trying to be more like God, if we're trying to be more like Jesus Christ, more Christ-like, we got to make eternity your home. And what is eternity? Eternity is the now. It is the now. The now is eternal. So by being here and now, by being present, we are entering our God-like state. And we're basically entering, we don't even want to say God arc. We're in we're in our godlike state by being present. Because when you are present, you are at your highest state of consciousness. You are at your highest state of awareness. You are at the highest state of mind. Okay? And so there's no such thing. You shouldn't, like, one of the things that I personally need to start doing is to get rid of these things. Once this happens, then I'll do this. Okay? I will be, my previous video was I will be a soldier of God. You gotta understand that it all starts in your mind. So if you don't believe yourself to be, if you don't have the identity that you are, I am a soldier of God. I am somebody that does this, right? By not aligning yourself to that, you're telling the universe that you aren't, right? And you know, the law of attraction, I know some people think it's woo-woo shit, whatever, but the law of attraction is basically the universe, the world, God will only give you things that you have, right? In the Bible, I forgot the actual verse, so I'm going to paraphrase, but it basically, like, you cannot receive anything unless it's given to you upon God, upon heaven, right? And some, I'm butchering these phrases, these verses, not gonna lie. But basically, you cannot receive something that you don't have, right? And so in order to have something, you must have it in your mind, okay? You must believe it to be something that you have right now, because you can't have something in the future, because the future doesn't exist, right? The future is a projection of the now, okay? So if you don't believe to have it now, you will never have it in the future, okay? You gotta act like the person that has it now. When there's a bunch of like the other self-improvement content creators and shit like that, they say things like you gotta act like you fake it till you make it. That's the saying. And that couldn't be so true, right? Again, I always come back to this phrase. I think I'm gonna need another example, but it's so good. I was acting like the best high school wrestler on Ireland. Fake it till you make it type shit. I was actually believing that I was the best high school wrestler on Ireland until I actually achieved it, until I actually manifested into reality, right? And so it all starts in the mind. Okay, if you don't believe it to be so right now, it will never be so. Okay, if you don't believe yourself to be fit in your mind, your reality, okay, you will have an undesirable reality. If you are unfit in your mind, you're unfit in reality. Okay, So you got, it's just a projection, right? What do you think is a projection of the now? Okay, so you got to cut out this. Once this happens, then I'll do this. You got to cut out I will be this. I will be this. No, you got to start with the I am. Like, I am a fit person. Like, dude, even if you have a belly, bro, even if you have a belly, like the law of attraction is basically, even if you have a belly, you know, you're fat, you haven't been to the gym, you haven't actually had the reality that you are a fit person, you got to start believing it from with starting with your mind, okay? Because once you consciously think the words that I am, I be the fit person, you start believing that you are a fit person, right? That you have the identity of somebody that goes to the gym. You have the thoughts, like emotionally charged thoughts, meaning that your your thoughts have weight to it, which basically means that you're more, how do I say this? Emotionally charged thoughts is basically like you have more of an inclination to follow these thoughts, because we have so many thoughts in the days, but some of the thoughts have less influence than other thoughts that we have. And so we want to be able to energize the thoughts that, not, I won't say energize, but like have the, basically have thoughts that serve us, and project us forward, move us forward, that move us forward in a certain direction that we want. Okay, and be convicted that this is what we want to do, and by doing that, it leads us to having the intuition to do the things, like the God-given intellect, as I like to say, to the internal compass, to start doing, to be compelled to do the things that lead us to the certain actions, like going to the gym, by eating healthy, which will technically lead us to our reality. Okay, so there's that. Okay, what else did I have? Oh, right here. Everything is a reflection of God. So this is something that I was thinking about as I was staring myself in the mirror. You are a reflection of God. When they say in Genesis that God made man in His image, right? I started picturing like a reflection, right? God made man in His image. You gotta understand that everything around you is God, right? Because everything is an extension of God. If everything came from God, that means everything is an extension of God, right? And so, by that definition, the things that you create, the things that you put out into the world, is also a reflection of God. Is also a reflection. Yeah, it's also a reflection of God. So, by that definition, you are technically, things around you is things that around you, like the building that you're in, this whiteboard marker. These are a reflection of God. God materialized, because they're basically okay, people, right? If God made man in His image, that means people are a reflection of God, and those people create things and put out into the world. So a few things that they've created are like this marker, this whiteboard, this tank top, right? And you got to understand that these things never actually existed until a person created them, right? And so this is basically, as neuroKnowledge says it, like everything in your reality is all of these is frozen imagination, right? It's so cool. It's so cool. It's like a very cool thing that I realized, like frozen imagination. Basically, they never existed. It was just an imagination, right? So somebody imagined a whiteboard, right? And now it's frozen imagination, meaning it's out there in reality. It's actually, you can touch it and shit like that, okay? That couldn't be happen if you were not connected to God, okay? Because God is the thing, God created everything. So you yourself is a reflection of God. Everything around you is an extension of God. So when people say things like what is God trying to tell me when tell me in this interaction, right? What is God trying to tell me through this video? You got to understand everything around you. Like, God exists in the present moment. God exists in the present moment, so everything around you is God trying to tell you something. The whiteboard marker, the me talking to you, the people, the way you could kind of want to perceive this is like, even the people that's talking, right? The people in your life is actually, view them as they're God. They're God trying to talk to you. What is God trying to tell me through this person on this YouTube video? Okay, what is God trying to tell me through this, through my father, through my mother, and all of this? Okay, because everything is God, right? Because everything came from God Himself. Okay, and so it's like that kind of what's this called? This kind of like conscious realization, awareness of that everything around you is God. Like the person that you are talking to, the interactions you have with other people, and that's the same that's the same thing. Person you're talking to, the interaction you have with other people, right? The person you see in the mirror is a reflection of God. Okay, so you are a reflection of what God has done for you, or of what God is. Okay, and so you gotta. The main essence of this video, and the thing that I'm trying to portray into this camera, is that you have to be aware. You have to be conscious, because by entering the state of consciousness, by entering a higher state of consciousness, you are able to tap into your God-given intellect. You are able to tap into God. Okay? It's that awareness. It's that awareness. Without that awareness, you will not see how God is working in your life, right? And I know, and I've never actually resonated with the, you know, how a lot of Christians or, you know, like religious people would be like, you know, you got to see how God is working in your life. I never resonated with that until I started to realize, this thing, which happened from just watching Nero's videos. So if you actually want to, like, I'm gonna be completely honest. If you actually want some actual cool stuff, go to Nero Knowledge on YouTube, right? But basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Is consciousness. Become consciousness. You got to be right now. There is no I will be this, I will do this, right? It starts in the mind, it starts in the now. The now is the only time that actually exists. So you have to be now. So basically, like in simplistic forms, don't say things like, I'm going to be somebody that I'm going to make $10,000. Actually believe that you are wealthy at this current moment, because God doesn't give you things that you don't have, right? You got to internally believe that you have the things that that you want, okay? Like, you may not have it right now in reality, but if you have it genuinely in your consciousness, it will be projected into your reality. Okay? Just stop looking through the lens of reality. Okay, this is another thing. Stop looking through the lens of reality, because reality is just in the physical plane. Okay, this is where we're gonna end, because reality is just in the physical plane. There's 3 planes of existence: the mental, physical, and spiritual plane. Okay, and the mental plane, it starts in the consciousness. These are the things that I was talking to you about. You got to become more aware, because when you're more aware, you're able to tap into your godlike state. When you're unaware, you'll be giving into the devil. You'll be giving into the, like, if you are unaware, that means you're more susceptible to deception. You're more susceptible to be walking off the path. You're more susceptible to be rationalizing, to be giving into these outside influences. You don't want that, right? If you're in the mental state, if you're actually consciously aware of the things around you, you will not be steered off your God-given path. You will not be steered off the path that's narrow and that leads to life. You feel me? The physical plane is basically your reality at this current moment, right? That basically means things that are exerted outside that you can actually see, right? Or see, feel, do, whatever. And then the spiritual plane is where God resides, you know, in this present moment, the now, right? Knowing that the eternal now is the only time that actually exists. And so by conquering these 3 planes of existence, you'll be able to actually enter your godlike state. Okay, And so that's me entering my God arc. And basically, I really just wanted to make a video. I don't care if it is not so structured or whatever. It's just like this is it. This is kind of what I'm leaning into nowadays. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this ramble, 30-minute ramble session, and I'll see you guys later. Deuces.